In this review we look at something we haven't seen before, and that's a Liebherr concrete pump. In 2012 Liebherr bought the Weitzinger concrete pump company and now produces pumps under its own name. This model comes in the usual branded box and the trays are factory sealed. It's always nice to open a box and see what's inside, and here we've got the nice concrete pump model. In addition, there's also a bag which contains a few parts. As you can see, the model is very well wrapped when you get it out of the box, and there's paper to protect the paintwork, and some tape to stop things flapping about during shipping. Well, in terms of assembly, there's really not too much to do. All that's needed to complete the model is to fit a cover to the hopper, and that's a simple thing to do, it just presses into place. Looking underneath, the Arocs chassis is typically detailed for NZG with most things modelled in metal. The pump is mounted on a Mercedes-Benz Arocs chassis, and the cab has the distinctive Arocs look. The outrigger beams are metal with nice sharp graphics, but they have the slightly old-fashioned detail of visible screw threads for pistons. There are very nice textured anti-slip walkways on the carrier, and the hopper has a plastic grille. The concrete pipe is plastic and the metal boom has hydraulic piping in the casting. So there is some plastic on the model, and that includes the pipe on the boom and on the truck, but the handrails are also plastic. Woohoo! There's no problem with the Arocs chassis rolling along, and it's all got a nice smooth easy action. Let's now get a handful of it and see what's underneath. And the rear wheels are fixed to common axles, whilst at the front there's linked steering, and with a bit of effort you can force it to quite a hard lock. Even so, the Arocs chassis turns a corner nicely. So we've arrived onto the Cranes etc. site, and let's set up the pump. The big outrigger just pulls out and it's controlled by a hydraulic ram, but the front outrigger is a little bit different because it's telescopic. The pads just screw down, but there's no separate spreader plates supplied with this model, but you can set the outriggers to support the model wheels free. At this point we're now able to raise the placing boom, but on the review model at least you might need to go into some training because the boom ram is very stiff. Still, that's always better than having a limp boom. The articulation on the boom works reasonably well, although it may not be quite as much as the real machine achieves. And when you open it up, quite a big model results. One thing that is very smooth on the model though is the rotation of the boom, which is really nice and easy. And you can set the model to reach up high, and if necessary you can use pins in the hydraulic rams to lock the positions. So that was a look at the bigger end of things. Let's go down and look at some of the smaller features. Firstly, the hopper cover can be posed either closed or open, but it's not hinged, it's of the press-in variety, which is not as good as a hinged cover. There's also a small opening cover on the body, and that gives you access to the concrete pump pistons. Another thing you can do with a model like this is to make up a mini diorama of a concrete pumping activity. It's good to see the introduction of a Liebherr concrete pump model. The Arocs chassis is new, but the pump itself seems to be really a rework of the earlier Weitzinger concrete pump model, but it's still quite nicely detailed with reasonable working features. It's a nice looking model, and as a concrete pump it's recommended.